Okay, guys, so for this example, this entire lesson, example 3 and example 4, we're going to be looking at angles. And you'll see here, we have one big angle. I think you can see that with this picture. That's being created by two smaller angles. Right, so if I highlight them, you'll see that this first angle, the purple one, and then the one right beside it, the one I'm labeling blue, the purple and the blue together are going to make the red angle, okay? So hopefully that makes sense to you. The smaller purple and the smaller blue together create the larger red angle, all right? And that's good that they gave us a picture. A lot of times in geometry, they will give you one and they'll give you some information typed out like this, and all of it is important. So if they give you a picture, pay attention to that. Also, if they don't give you a picture, then you're going to want to draw one most of the time. Okay, it's always a good idea to draw a picture if they don't give you one. So what we're going to do is go through each of these statements that they gave us one by one and see if we can break down what it means. All right. So the very first thing it says is EI, and I believe it means to say ray. Ray EI is the angle bisector of angle MEK. All right. Now, before we go anywhere else, we need to know what that means. Well, we know we're talking about angles, so that's not necessarily the important part. What is important is the word bisector. Does anyone remember what bisector means? If you do, you can turn on your microphone and tell me. Bisector, anybody remember what that word means? All right, bisect means you're splitting it into two equal pieces. Bisector is splits it into two equal pieces. So basically they're telling us that this ray in the middle, the one that has purple and blue on it, that ray is splitting this large red angle into two equal angles. Okay, so that means purple angle is equal to blue angle. That's what I get from that statement. That's what you're supposed to pull from it. So let's write that down. This first angle, the purple one, we name it correctly, that's going to be angle MEI. Make sure you do that the right way. Angle MEI. And this little M, that just means the measure of. Okay, so measure of angle MEI is going to equal the measure of angle IEK. So all I've done is basically say the purple one equals the blue one. I get all of that from statement 1. Does anyone have a question so far? Any questions? Okay, so we'll move on to the next sentence. All right, so remember we said they are equal, so we can draw these congruency markings. All right, the measure of angle MEI equals 28 degrees. MEI was my purple one, that's 28 degrees for this half. And then I just want to substitute that in down here and put 28 under MEI. And then that takes care of statement 2. Any questions on that? Okay, moving on to the last statement. It says the measure of angle IEK equals 4x minus 12, or IEK, this is my blue little angle. I can label that 4x minus 12. And also substituting into the equation 4x minus 12. Okay. And we know these two things are equal. And that takes care of the last statement. So this is where we are. We created an equation, 28 equals 4x minus 12. That's all of the geometry. Are there any questions so far? Any questions so far? All right, so at this point, the rest is algebra. All we need to do is solve the equation for x. That's what they wanted us to find out. So we're just going to add 12 to both sides. You need to check my math behind me in case I make a mistake, but I believe 28 plus 12 is 40. So 40 equals 4x, and then we need to divide by 4. And x should come out to be 10, right? And that's example 3. Are there any questions at all on example 3? How to set it up, how to solve it, any issues? Now remember, if you type in the chat, I can't see you. So you have to turn on your microphone and let me know if there are any questions. Okay, you guys ready for number 4? You ready for number 4? Let's work that one out. So once again, they were nice to us. They gave us a picture. And we can see it over here to help us visualize the problem. But we want to go through the 3 statements and kind of break it down step by step. So the first thing they say is angle RBO is congruent to angle SBO. All right, let's see what that means. RBO is this little angle. They say it is congruent to SBO, which would be this angle. So red and blue are congruent according to statement 1. Right, that helps us with the picture, but we also need to write something down. Like, what does that mean mathematically? If they are congruent, that means their measures are equal. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did in example 3. I'm gonna put the measure of angle RBO is equal to the measure of angle SBO. As if they are congruent figures, then their values are equal. Okay, so that's just being technical and using correct notation. If you don't put a congruent sign, then you need to put the M's for measure. Okay, and that takes care of statement 1. Any questions? All right, statement 2 says the measure of angle SBO is 4x minus 3, or equals 4x minus 3. So let's go to the picture first. SBO is the blue angle. And see how I did that in order? SBO, blue angle. The value is 4x minus 3. And then down for my equation, I will substitute that in right here. 4x. I think I'm right clicking. All right, 4x minus 3. Replace SBO with that expression. And that takes care of statement 2. Okay. One more to go. RBO, the measure of angle RBO, that's the red angle, is 2x plus 9. So we put that in right here. And I'm writing sideways, okay? And then I also replace this measure of RBO, substitute 2x plus 9 in. And that takes care of statement 3. So once I have broken down each statement, then I know I've set the problem up correctly, and then we can solve. Okay, so our equation this time is 2x plus 9 equals 4x minus 3. Are there any questions at all about this? Okay, so at this point, the first thing they want us to do is find x. So we're going to solve this equation real quick because this is algebra and you have taken that before. So we're subtracting 2x on both sides, leaves us with 9 equals 2x minus 3. Adding 3 to both sides should leave you with 12 equals 2x. And then dividing both sides by 2 should leave you with 6 as your answer for x. So x equals 6. Any questions? Any questions? All right, the last thing for this lesson is to find the measure of angle RBO. How do you think we should do that? Any ideas? It says find the measure. So they want an actual value, degrees. Like over here, it said the measure of angle MEI is 28 degrees. They want us to find the degrees, the measure of angle RBO. Okay, so we want to find RBO is 2x plus 9. We want to substitute 6 in for x. So separate my scratch work. 2x plus 9 is RBO, but we know what x is, so we'll substitute that 6 in. And 2 times 6 is 12. Plus 9 should give us 21 degrees. Check my math. 12 plus 9 should be 21. Therefore, the measure of angle RBO should be 21 degrees. And it is important that you put the degree sign. Okay. And that would also mean SBO should be 21 degrees too, just because we knew those were congruent. Okay. That's the lesson. Talking about angle bisectors and applying that to find the values of x and the measures of missing angles. That's it for today's lesson. Do you guys have any questions at all? All right, if not, we're going to move on to your practice assignment for today.